Welcome to Hold the Line. I'm Buck Sexton. Cases of COVID-19 keep stacking up around the country, and so do the nonsensical rules that state governments continue to impose. Oregon, for example, has some of the country's strictest measures in place. Its statewide lockdown, which they're calling a freeze, presumably because lockdown didn't test well, that prohibits residents from having more than 6 non-family members in their own home at any given time. So how are they going to enforce this blatant violation of individual liberty? Are the cops going to count the cars in your driveway? Are they going to look and see if you bought too many hors d'oeuvres? Maybe weigh your turkey before you fire it up in the oven? No. Oregon Governor Kate Brown just wants you to inform on each other. Watch.
Look, this is no different than what happens if there's a party down the street and it's keeping everyone awake. What do neighbors do? They call law enforcement because it's too noisy. This is just like that. It's like a violation of a noise ordinance.
Yeah, just like that. Calling the cops on your neighbors for gathering with their family on Thanksgiving, just like a rowdy party that won't let you sleep at night. Same kind of ordinance. This is insanity, right? We all understand that people have lost their minds here. They no longer can be counted on to think critically about any of these issues. They've been brainwashed. There is some good news, though. We're starting to finally see more widespread pushback against this lunacy. There's a trend across the country where you have members of Oregon law enforcement, for example, they're signaling that they will just refuse to enforce the measures. The Marion County Sheriff's Office responded to Governor Brown's order saying, quote, "We recognize that we cannot arrest or enforce our way out of the pandemic." Response has been similar in California, where 13 law enforcement agencies announced that they will not be enforcing Gavin Newsom, the governor's recently imposed statewide curfew. And it's not just law enforcement pushing back. In Huntington Beach this weekend, we saw civil disobedience as folks took to the streets in direct violation of the curfews. The weekend also saw demonstrations in New York City where protesters actually burned masks in Washington Square Park. Friends, it looks like we are at a turning point now. People are realizing they're not going to give back the freedom they've taken away, not for a long time, not willingly. So what can we do? Well, mass noncompliance is certainly an answer, one that people have been thinking about but unwilling to engage in for a long time. Let's understand this. If we live in a country where politicians can now on a whim decide how many family members can be in your home for a Thanksgiving or any holiday for that matter, or any day, we live in a country where politicians can decide whatever they want. You don't have any rights. All they need is some kind of a compelling enough public statement about a health issue, and the Constitution no longer applies. All of a sudden, the sacred rights that we're supposed to have, the very foundation of our system of government, it's irrelevant. It's just a suggestion. They can suspend it at will whenever they want to, whenever they decide to. So people are seeing this now. They're understanding that we're going into a long, cold winter here. It's not just going to be a month or two. This is going to stretch out 4 months. And they're going to do irreparable damage to businesses, to the economy, to people's lives through drug addiction, drug overdose, undiagnosed cancer, depression, suicide. And for what? Here's another simple truth, one that whenever I share this, I know I run the risk of being censored on platforms, on Facebook and Twitter and other places. They've already done it to me. But here's what we all know ultimately, if we really think about it. The government cannot protect you from COVID-19. It's not possible. Only you can protect yourself, and even then it's not perfect. Far from it. The more you limit your contact with other human beings, the more you're willing to make those concessions. You might up your percentages, but there's no such thing as perfect COVID-19 protection. It does not exist. And the government isn't even able to give you what seems to be worthwhile COVID protection. Look at the numbers all across the country. Look at what is happening here. Why would we be doing these things once again? Why would we be doubling down and going to even more extreme measures if what we had been doing up to this point, practicing social distancing and wearing masks, as government policies worked? We're seeing people that are understanding as well that their constitutional rights are not a suggestion It's not up to a governor of any one state. It's not up to the mayor or even to a sheriff's office or you name it to decide, sorry, the Constitution no longer counts here. We have people who are afraid. We have people who are worried. Well, guess what? There are people who are worried about the future of a country that they live in where the government no longer has restrictions. Do you really believe that these people, the Gavin Newsoms and the Governor Cuomo's and Lori Lightfoot and Gretchen Whitmer and Nancy Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein, all these people who are always caught in acts of extreme hypocrisy, you think they care about you and your family? You think they care about the damage that's being done to people by these lockdowns? No. They have tremendous power, and when push comes to shove, they're going to live their lives as they see fit and do so without consequences. You want to talk about the concerns of government in this country? At the top of the list should be a government that thinks that it has a right to tell you where you can go, who you can be with, whether you can operate your business or not, and is now increasingly threatening people with jail time, with prison. 30 days in Oregon, they say, if you violate their gathering ordinance. I'm sorry, how do they enforce this? They're going to go into your home? Whatever happened to the Fourth Amendment? Whatever happened to unreasonable search and seizure? Where are all the civil libertarians? Where are all the people that are supposed to be saying, sorry, even if you have a good reason to infringe upon these liberties, and the state really doesn't because these things they're doing simply do not function the way we're told they will. Even if you had that, what legal basis is there? What constitutional basis, a better way of putting it, for implementing these policies? No one even asked this question right now. Finally, it seems, people are starting to see what's really going on. They understand that the promises that were made from the beginning of this, 2 weeks to slow the spread, 2 months, make it 6 months, make it 9 months, keep shutting down whenever we tell you. The numbers that we come up with, we make them up on the fly. You have to obey them because we said so. What are we getting out of this? What is the benefit of this? Are they really trying to make us believe that what they've done so far, we've definitely paid the price. We've paid the price in the loss of freedom, in destroyed businesses, in enormous amounts of depression, in enormous amounts of drug abuse, children not being able to be in school. We're getting all the bad effects of this. Where's the upside? Oh, I'm sorry, we flattened the curve? That's about a temporary thing meant to make sure that hospitals aren't overwhelmed. Now we're back into that mentality? No, we're supposed to now flatten the virus forever, which is nonsense. This was never even considered possible until now, and people are told to just obey because they say so. Because those in authority use this as a means of attacking Trump, convincing many millions of Americans, unfortunately, across the country, that the good people should be out there mask shaming the bad people. And Canada's having a big spike in cases. Europe is having a big spike in cases, many different European countries. Is that all Trump's fault? This is a freedom issue, a constitutional issue. It's about individual liberty. It's about the very foundation of our governing system, what it's allowed to do, what it's not allowed to do. Is this still America if governors can tell you that you can't see family members, that you have to stay locked away in your home? Perhaps they'll even lock you up if you don't do it? Does that feel like the land of the free and the home of the brave to you? Because it doesn't to me. And if we were even getting the benefits they promised, I would say we should still not do this. But we're not getting those benefits. The cases are spiking. It's spreading all across the country. And there's just this constant refrain, we're not doing enough of what they say, so we have to do more. I say no. I say enough is enough. Let's look at the facts and the reality as they are presented to all of us. The government simply cannot protect you from this virus. The same way the government couldn't protect you from the common cold or the flu, it cannot protect you from aerosolized viruses, period. And all these different mandates and this patchwork of ideas here and there from state and local governments, it's absurd. We'll look into some of the absurdity, some of the specifics here later on in the show, and someone can try to explain to me why the things we're being made to do make any sense, because they don't. But if you question it, you're told you're a bad person who wants grandma and grandpa to die while eating their Thanksgiving turkey. It's insane. I reject this. I reject the lies. Hey Team Buck, just want to say thanks so much for watching the first on YouTube. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more great content from the first, please click that subscribe button.